Breaking news as we come on the air. The deadly tour bus crash in upstate New York. Authorities reporting multiple fatalities. And the Justice Department releasing its interview with Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. First, the horrific images coming in. Multiple people killed after a packed tour bus on its way back to New York City lost control at full speed. Rolling over, passengers ejected. Children among the injured. First responders treating victims on the highway. What we're learning about the cause. Also tonight, the extraordinary move by the Justice Department. Amid intense scrutiny over the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, the DOJ releasing audio and transcripts of the two-day interview with Epstein's former associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, who insisted there is no client list. What she said about President Trump and about former President Clinton. Tonight, the FBI at the front door of John Bolton's home. Once among President Trump's top advisors, now one of his most vocal critics. Federal agents investigating allegations of his handling of classified documents. The president blasting Bolton in the Oval Office. The court-authorized search raising questions about political retribution. Jonathan Karl with new reporting. Hurricane Erin causing life-threatening rip currents up and down the East Coast. Warnings posted on beaches during one of summer's last weekends. More than 50 million under heat alerts in the West, the growing wildfire threat at this hour. After more than 3 decades behind bars for the murders of their parents, Erik Menendez denied parole. Tonight, his brother Lyle making his plea for freedom. Chilling new body camera video released in the Idaho college murders case. Police seen inside the house going room to room, finding the bodies of 4 victims stabbed to death in the off-campus home. Officers talking to the surviving roommates for the first time. And developing right now, the massive explosion at an oil plant. Thick black smoke pouring into the air, evacuations underway.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us on a busy Friday night. I'm Rachel Scott in for David. We begin tonight with the deadly tour bus crash in upstate New York. The horrific scene on Interstate 90 just outside Buffalo. Authorities say multiple people killed, dozens injured, including children. The bus rolling off the highway, landing on its side. Dozens of people on board, several trapped inside, others thrown off that bus. First responders racing to the scene. The highway shut down in both directions. Traffic backed up for miles. The tour bus was returning to the New York City area from Niagara Falls. ABC's Morgan Norwood leads us off.
Tonight, a horrific bus crash in upstate New York, killing at least 5 people and sending many more, including children, to the hospital.
The passengers range in age from 1 to 74 years old. The operator lost control of the bus, exiting the roadway.
Authorities say the tour bus left from New York City with 54 people on board and was on its way back from Niagara Falls when it spun out of control at full speed outside Buffalo. First responders rushing to the scene this afternoon. Dramatic images showing the bus lying on the side of the interstate. Firefighters attempting to work their way inside the wreckage to search for survivors. Some passengers thrown from the bus, others trapped underneath.
I need heavy rescue with airbags. Like yesterday.
Emergency crews calling in air support and school buses to evacuate the injured.
I need all four Mercy flights, helicopters. We're going to land them side by side on the median.
All 4 are en route to the scene.
Doctors saying several patients are undergoing surgery tonight.
And Rachel, tonight the investigation is underway into what could have caused that deadly crash. Rachel? Morgan Norwood on this breaking story. Morgan, thank you. Now to the remarkable decision by the Justice Department. Amid growing scrutiny over the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche releasing audio and transcripts of his 2-day interview with Epstein's former associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Erin Katersky.
Tonight, for the first time, we're hearing Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell in her own words, telling the Justice Department she witnessed no inappropriate behavior by any of Epstein's powerful friends, from Bill Clinton to Donald Trump. And a long-rumored list of Epstein's high-profile clients does not exist.
There's no list. There's never been a list.
And you never heard Mr. Epstein talk about such a list?
Never.
In her highly unusual 2-day meeting last month with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, the country's second highest-ranking law enforcement official and President Trump's former lawyer, Maxwell said she witnessed no illegal or concerning conduct by Trump.
I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects.
Before the meeting, which Maxwell initiated, sources tell ABC News top administration officials encouraged Blanche to seek information from Maxwell that could lead to criminal investigations that might quiet the outrage over Epstein by some of the president's own supporters.
I want you to just tell the truth the best you can, so I don't want you to be burdened by what people said at trial or what you know the press says about you.
The Justice Department today turned over to Congress a trove of Epstein files, along with an audio recording and transcript of the 9-hour Maxwell interview. She called former President Clinton truly extraordinary, and despite Trump's claim Clinton visited Epstein's private Caribbean island more than 20 times, Maxwell said it isn't true.
You're not aware of President Clinton ever going to the island?
He absolutely never went, and I can be sure of that, because there's no way he would have gone. I don't believe there's any way that he would have gone to the island had I not been there, because I don't believe he had an independent friendship, if you will, with Epstein.
Maxwell also claims she's innocent, despite a 2021 conviction for trafficking minors and enabling Epstein's sexual exploitation of girls.
I did introduce him to women. I did, but not underage women.
Maxwell is serving a 20-year sentence. President Trump has not ruled out a pardon. Epstein victims like Annie Farmer, who testified against her, say Maxwell deserves no mercy.
She didn't just procure girls and women for Epstein, but she herself participated in their abuse.
Shortly after her interview, Maxwell was transferred to a minimum security camp in Texas, a rare move for a convicted sex offender. Maxwell is hoping her cooperation will help get her out of prison. And Rachel, President Trump is no doubt hoping it will help him quiet an uproar over Epstein among some of his top supporters that has dogged him all summer. We'll see if it works, Rachel.
Yeah, many of his supporters calling for transparency. All right, Erin, thank you. Stunning images tonight. The FBI searching the home and office of John Bolton. He once served as the president's national security advisor. Now he's one of Trump's most outspoken critics. Sources say federal agents are investigating allegations Bolton may be in possession of classified records. Here's ABC's chief Washington correspondent, Jonathan Karl.
President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, arrived at his home this afternoon just moments after FBI agents carried boxes out of his house. And while 4 agents were still inside. The agents had been there nearly 8 hours, arriving shortly after 7 a.m. Sources telling ABC News the search was related to allegations that Bolton was in possession of classified records. Just moments after the agents arrived, FBI Director Kash Patel wrote on social media, quote, "No one is above the law. FBI agents on mission." The question is whether that mission is retribution. Bolton has been a harsh Trump critic since Trump fired him back in 2019. And for years, Trump has said Bolton belongs in jail. The search of Bolton's Maryland home and also his Washington, D.C. office, where agents were seen removing items this afternoon, were approved by 2 separate federal judges. Back in 2020, President Trump tried to block the publication of Bolton's White House memoir, The Room Where It Happened, a highly negative portrayal of Trump's handling of national security. Trump accused Bolton of putting classified information in the book. Today, Trump insisted he didn't know about the search in advance, but he made it clear he still despises his former national security advisor.
I purposely don't want to really get involved in it. I'm not a fan of John Bolton. I thought he was a sleazebag, actually.
Just 12 days ago, I asked Bolton if he feared being a target of President Trump's.
Are you worried that they're going to come after you in some way? I mean, he's hinted at it before.
Well, I think he's already come after me and several others in withdrawing the protection that we had for from the Iranians for the attack on Qasem Soleimani. So I think, and I said in the new forward to the paperback edition of my book, I think it is a retribution presidency.
Bolton is one of many Trump critics who have been targeted by the White House and the Justice Department. The president himself has suggested that many of his political opponents, including former Presidents Biden and Obama, should be in prison. Rachel?
John, thank you. Next tonight, Erin moving out to sea. The large storm losing strength, but still creating dangerous conditions along the East Coast. And out in the West, more than 50 million under heat and wildfire alerts. Here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos. Tonight, Erin is still a massive storm, and between the waves, the floods, and the rip currents, the danger is far from over.
Normally, Jones Beach is one of the biggest, the largest beaches in the tri-state area. You can see it's all pretty much underwater this morning.
Up and down the East Coast, the tides came in with a vengeance. Police officers pushing stranded vehicles in Ocean City, Maryland. Cars swamped on the Jersey Shore. Authorities in Margate, New Jersey say they rescued about 50 people overnight. Swimmers banned from most beaches. The conditions treacherous.
You gotta go.
On Long Beach, just outside New York City, lifeguards racing into the pounding surf to help a surfer that smashed into the rocks. On North Carolina's Outer Banks, heavy equipment clearing the road, mobile homes caked in sand, crews repairing downed lines. Meanwhile, in the West, extreme heat fueling multiple wildfires. 350 firefighting personnel battling the out-of-control picket fire. In Northern California's Napa County, hundreds under evacuation orders. Here on Rockaway Beach, the red flag warnings are up. The combination of strong rip currents and perfect beach weather has officials concerned as they try to keep people out of the water. Rachel. All right, Stephanie, thank you. So let's get right to meteorologist Jeff Smith from our New York station, WABC. Hey, Jeff.
And Rachel, Erin is now a post-tropical cyclone accelerating away from the East Coast. However, it's a large storm. The impact still being felt at the beaches. Mid-Atlantic states, we have high surf advisories into this evening. Into tomorrow, those high surf advisories continue for the New England coast. And for the waters from Florida all the way up to Maine, it's a high risk of rip currents all weekend. So even as the weather entices people to head down to the beach, the water is going to be pretty dangerous out there. In the meantime, out west, record heat a possibility or a probability from Southern California up to the Pacific Northwest. In addition to that, breezy and dry, that can fuel wildfires. Rachel?
Jeff Smith tracking it all from coast to coast. Jeff, thank you. We move on now to Lyle and Erik Menendez and their new push for freedom 36 years after murdering their parents. One day after Erik Menendez lost his bid for freedom, his brother Lyle is making an appeal to the board. Here's ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman.
Just a day after his younger brother Erik was denied parole for the notorious shotgun murders of their parents 36 years ago, Lyle Menendez is making his case before a different panel of parole commissioners. Lyle, now 57, was in college when they killed their parents in their Beverly Hills home. He has fewer infractions in prison than his brother, but a resume filled with lies, starting with his 911 call.
What's the problem? Someone killed my parents. Pardon me? Someone killed my parents.
Like Erik, Lyle will be grilled on the murders and the alleged sex abuse by his father.
It raped me.
Did you cry?
Yes.
It comes after the parole board ruled that Erik still poses an unreasonable risk to public safety. The commissioner excoriating Erik, saying his prison record is replete with diverse violations.
You have violence, you have manipulation, you have misuse of things, you have criminal acts, you have substance abuse.
He also cited Erik's repeated use of contraband cell phones, drugs, even tax fraud.
I really became addicted to this, to the phones, and said, "You're doing life without. This is not really harming anyone."
The board saying Erik's leadership among inmates tarnished by his infractions. Contrary to your supporters' beliefs, you have not been a model prisoner, and frankly, we find that a little disturbing. And the commissioner pointing to the murder of Erik's mother, calling it devoid of human compassion, rejecting the brothers' claim that they were in imminent fear, agreeing with the DA's argument.
It's an entire fabrication that their parents were going to kill them that night, as we showed by their premeditated, willful, and deliberate actions both before and after the killings.
And Rachel, the marathon parole hearing still ongoing. It's expected that 18 members of the Menendez family will testify on Lyle's behalf, likely to be emotional. And the family's legal team says that because the fates of the two brothers are so closely linked, it's unlikely that Lyle will be granted parole. Rachel.
All right, Matt Gutman, thank you. Overseas tonight, for the first time, a UN-backed group declaring a famine in Gaza City. At least 500,000 people facing starvation. Israel calling reports of a famine in Gaza false. Let's bring in ABC's Tom Soufi-Burge. Tom?
Yeah, Rachel, famine has been declared in Gaza City in the north of the Strip. The UN-backed assessment saying 500,000 Palestinians there now face catastrophic conditions of starvation, destitution and death. The UN calling it a moment of collective shame for the world, caused, they say, by Israel's policy of restricting aid into the Strip. Israel rejecting that, calling the report an outright lie based on unreliable sources, saying some of them are linked to Hamas. It comes as the IDF begins a military operation to take control of Gaza City, the families of the hostages calling for a ceasefire to get their loved ones home. Rachel?
Tom, thank you. Next tonight, chilling new body camera video released in the Idaho college murders case. 4 victims stabbed to death in a home off campus. One of the surviving roommates describing the moment she saw a masked Brian Kohberger inside that house. Here's ABC's Kana Whitworth.
Where's she at? Tonight, new video obtained by ABC News reveals the moments officers discover a quadruple homicide in Moscow, Idaho. Moscow police officer Mitch Nunes quickly making the gruesome discovery.
Stay back there, please. Slow down. Just come here.
They immediately worked to secure the scene.
Can you guys go over to the dumpster?
Surviving roommate Dylan Mortensen telling Officer Nunes she was afraid, locking herself in her room.
I just remember hearing this guy's voice that I didn't recognize saying, "You're going to be okay, I'm going to help you." But it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't in like a nice way. It was like a weird way, like a weird tone.
Then, nothing. She opens the door, coming face to face with the killer.
So the guy passed by, he looked at me, but he didn't come towards me or say anything, which was really confusing. Almost positive. He was wearing a full black outfit, and he had this mask that was just over his forehead and over his mouth.
And Rachel, she then went downstairs to the only roommate answering her text, and they fell asleep telling themselves nothing ever happens in Moscow. Rachel.
Kana, thank you. News tonight about the economy. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell signaling a possible cut in interest rates in the future. Speaking in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, Powell, under intense pressure from President Trump, says a hiring slowdown and price hike caused by tariffs are creating a challenging situation. The hint of cutting interest rates sending the stock market surging. The Dow jumping 846 points today, the NASDAQ gaining 396 points, and the S&P 500 up 96 points. When we come back, remarkable new images from an oil plant explosion, a massive fireball erupting from the scene, prompting an emergency. Next tonight, dramatic images from a massive explosion at an oil plant in Louisiana. A fireball flaring up from Smitty's Supply in Roseland as flames surrounded oil tanks. The blast prompting evacuation throughout the town. No injuries reported tonight. Authorities are looking into what caused that explosion. When we come back, a recall expands for potentially radioactive shrimp. The new alert tonight, and a teenager's emotional milestone, the moment of pride being shared by millions. To the index now, an expanded recall for shrimp potentially contaminated with radioactive material. The company urging consumers to toss out raw and cooked shrimp sold by Southwind Foods or return it for a refund. The shrimp was sold between July 17th and August 8th. The alert follows a recall of shrimp sold at Walmart under the Great Value brand. Up next, America Strong, the trip for a sweet treat that's inspiring millions. And finally tonight, America Strong, the trip for a sweet treat and the moment seen by millions. That's Jack Dowdell from Utah.
Jack, you're gonna take your money and go buy your own all by yourself?
Yeah.
If you need any problems, you just wave to me and I'll come in, okay?
Okay.
But you could do it, right?
Yeah.
Get a small slurpee and you just give them the $2 and they'll give you change and you come, okay?
Thanks, Dad.
Okay.
He's about to go into 7-Eleven to buy his favorite drink for the very first time on his own. His father, Devin, capturing the moment.
Hey, did you do it?
Yeah.
You did it?
Yes.
It's a true milestone for the 14-year-old who has Down syndrome. His mom, Kimberly, sharing the post online, and it's now gone viral, writing, "It might not seem like a big deal, but if you're a parent of a child with Down syndrome, you know just how hard these moments can be. We worry, we hover, we want to protect, and without meaning to, sometimes we hold them back. But today, we let go, just a little." Tonight, the Dowdells sending this message to other families.
Our parent human nature is to protect, to coddle, but we know by doing hard things you can grow.
They can see that anything's possible and to also see that there's just a lot of joy.
Thank you for watching. I'm Rachel Scott. Good night.
David Muir, the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 3rd year in a row.